I don't care about love, just need your touch. Want you to be my vice, 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 vice. I'm all about your vibe.
It's Marie, the automation junkie, and I'm here at a late night sesh, and I'm going to show you guys what I actually do when I'm up this late, trying to just clean up my systems, because throughout the days I'm normally busy with calls and meetings and people trying to make sure they have all of my attention, and at night I like to really just clean up my systems, see where things are, see where my team ended up for the day, and then just kind of prep for the next day. So I'm going to be really transparent about some things, but I'm going to definitely have to block out a lot of the information so you guys don't see all of the private information, because I done signed some NDAs, okay? But I want to get you guys into the actual insight of what I do. And if you guys have any questions or would like to work with me, the links are in the description. Okay, it is time to get started. Now, you guys are actually going to see a few things, and please don't go crazy. My mind is literally like a space where I think it's like, but it's beautiful. I don't even know what that was. Okay, so I'm going to start with ClickUp. So ClickUp is where I primarily start my nights, because it is literally 12 o'clock at night, and I want to make sure that I've caught all the things that my team has done that they had questions for. So the first thing I normally do is go through all of my notifications, which in this case, I've already done that, so that kind of kills some time there. And then what I also do is I go through the time lapse of me wanting to get things done productively tomorrow. So I look at my focus tasks, which are going to be things that I have dedicated for the day, for the next day, and anything is overdue. So this is literally going to be place where it's going to be mainly overdue items for me, because I like, and let me not say that it's not overdue, it's more so I plan ahead. So a lot of times I keep up with my task on a day-to-day, but I kind of put more tasks on my like mainly on my day-to-day task list. It's like a 50 item list, and then as I go through the day, I'm like, okay, I could do this today, and I put it on my list even though it's due for like another day, and then I end up having to still do it the next day or the day that is due, closer to when it's due. So it's some of the things here I know for sure, things that I got to work through. So you can see like the tasks that I have there, and then tasks that I need to do for the week, and then overdue tasks. I might yawn a few times, so please, it's not because I want to, it's because it's involuntary, because I am actually getting to the sleepy point, and I think I'm about to like call it a night soon. So what I do here is I kind of go through that. I also look at my team's tasks, because my team also has a board as well that they use. And this board tells me all of the things from any of the overdue tasks. And my computer is now going a little bit slow because it's also telling me to go to bed. So it tells me all of their tasks, their urgent tasks, things that needs to be completed for the next day, things that they have start times for. So it literally has the full platform of that. I can also see their time also on a dashboard, because I've created it that way. I see my clients' passwords, which is a list view. So these are my favorite items, because even support tickets. So if you don't know or don't have a system for your clients to do tasks, this is shout out to all VAs. I created a support ticket process inside of my ClickUp that kind of just has them fill out a form, and on a day-to-day basis, they're able to schedule a time of when they want it to become done, or they can just say today if they're not caring about when it gets done at a specific time. And our process internally is just to make sure that the task is done, then moved over to the actual list for tracking purposes. So we go through that information there, and I look at it and I'm just like, okay, we're good. Or things that I need to update them on, I'll go in that process and just click on the actual task, and then have a follow-up task for tomorrow. As you can see in here though, as a task is created, it does create an email just to send over to the person who submitted the task to let them know that we're on it. This is just productivity so that they can know that, it's not just sitting in a random queue. And then that's like what I do inside of ClickUp. I also go through my list of tasks, and I'm only going to show you this list because I know that for sure it's like a safe list to go through. But I have a list of clients, and then I also have a list of different items that I go through in terms of if there are certain types of clients. And I'll have Josh edit this part so that it's not showing any names, but literally it shows the team, like tracking hours, if there's any like deductions that I have or whatever the case is, websites, websites, executive assistant admin clients, and automation support clients. The two differences there is the executive assistant clients, they tend to stick with me on a consistent basis. So they're doing monthly retainers. They are going through the process of having daily admin support. And we already have tiers. So if you wanted to do the basic admin up to even the more granular admin tasks, we have tiers for that. And then we have automation support where they're on a project base of admin support, and it's really just for that automation process. Then you have automation itself. Excuse me. You have automation themselves, and automation is going to be mainly going to show for long-term clients, one-time clients who are doing a bigger project. So that's the breakdown there. In each list, there are different in progress statuses, there's completed statuses, and other statuses that just are relevant. So that's just what that is. I actually go to AppSumo every day. I know. I made a whole video on it before. If you haven't checked it out yet, go check it out now. So I do go to AppSumo every day. And the reason why I go to AppSumo every day is because I look at my redeem by date and I see if I should actually redeem it or refund it. And I tend to kind of go through this list because there are a lot of things that I see that I want to catch and purchase, but then there are times where I just don't have time to utilize it, or I find out that I just actually don't need it. So I literally just at that point delete it. And that's just what happens there. So I go through this list at least once a week to try to see if there's anything that I want to do. And then I actually have a tab open because I wanted to look at this tool that I saw on there for meetings, which I think would be great for me if I were to use it. It's an agenda detailed minutes thing, which I've really been trying to find something that would be great because each meeting that I have, I also have a recap for it. And the recap tends to go inside of Slack directly. And then my assistant creates the actual tasks in ClickUp. So I might buy this. It's $19. It's, fairly cheap, and it's also a lifetime deal. Based on the tier that I select, it's probably something that I'm going to purchase and try it out. I then go to my portal and I try to see if there's any, before I go to my portal, I'm going to show you guys my calendar. So I go to my calendar and I see what my next day schedule looks like. I tend to have a lot of meetings, and I have cut my meetings off now at a certain time so that I don't get overwhelmed. For example, today I had meetings scattered and my meetings ended at around 2:30. It was a lot of meetings. And so what happens is either people tend to speak to me in the morning, or they speak to me in the later afternoon, and then I have to kind of follow up with other items, and then I get very much so busy towards the end of the day, so then I end up having to work a little bit later. And again, this is not a problem of a work-life balance. It's more so I just like to have the peace and quiet at this point. So after I do that, I see what's next. So for tomorrow, I have a pivoting session. I like to actually schedule time for myself to prep for that call, because it's very important that you know that I am connecting with you. And every time that we have a pivoting session is a strategy session, I tend to take time to research who you are, make sure I'm connecting, and then I come prepared because you're going to have a profile built out, a Milanote that I actually create for you. So you're able to actually feel like, okay, there are things that were done. So it looks something like this. And so I kind of have this process, this breakout, breakout. I have this breakout of the information that I'm going to add there, which is going to be your phone number, your name, your website. So you have access to this at the end of the day as well. All right, that makes sense. So I tend to go into Slack last, and where I communicate with my clients every day is Slack. If they don't have Slack with me, we communicate with email, but because I'm giving you guys a complimentary access, you just got to be on Slack. And it's convenient because I separate it by sections. And again, I know it's blocked out, but you guys can get the gist. So the first section up here is going to be starred. So any items that I know for sure I'm going to have communication with on a day-to-day basis. And then you have this client section, which lists out all of the client's channels. Then you have the channels itself that just don't really need to be sectioned out. And then you have the apps and connections. So I tend to schedule my messages for previous updates. So for example, let's say that I actually finished doing some research or something for a client that was something I wanted to share with them for the next morning, because I want to make sure you guys know that we're prompt, and we also have a client hub that displays our best practices. That's something that is definitely beautiful, by the way. I created it. So a client hub that displays their information, what it does is it just gives you the accountability. Like, hey, this is what's due. This is what's updated. It gives you that transparency. And then I kind of round it out at that point. I kind of make sure that I have all the things that I need. I prepare for my calls for the next day. And then I kind of just tie it out. Then I also sometimes, because I do change my website very frequently. And the reason why I change my website so often is because I like to just make sure that I'm staying relevant. And I'm also being, what can I say? Being relevant, but also making sure that I'm not missing the mark with my target audience. So I've updated it a few times. And what I've realized, because with Wix, you're able to see like when people come on and when they leave. With Wix, I like to see that someone came on, and then from them coming on at, I want to see exactly where they pulled off, what deterred them from that point. And so I tend to look at that from that case and say, okay, from this session, I can see that they probably took a look further down, saw that, things were there. And then it was just like, okay. So kind of just creating a space where it's more clear. I try to just, research and do more detailing and digging and all the things. I hope that gave you an insight as to what I do late night. I am going to go to bed. It's 11:30 now. You see, this is what I mean. I'm tired. It's 12:30 and I want to make sure that I get some sleep. But tomorrow morning I will be back at it. And I hope that you guys enjoy this. So bye.
I'm all lit by your vibe.